to the top 하늘로 가오른 마.
Hi everyone, it's Anyhow. So this week I'm drawing Hao in my zerobaseone fan art style, and I will be giving his backstory for the AU. So Hao was born in 2000 in China, and at a very young age his parents put him in violin lessons. He absolutely fell in love with it. His teacher was extremely nice and caring and always made sure that Hao felt loved and respected whenever he was at violin practice. And this contributed to Hao spending all of his free time practicing violin. He wanted to be one of the best, and he just simply wanted to perfect his craft. And since he practiced so much, he was actually on track to become one of the top violinists in all of China. He even got into top Chinese universities because of his violin skills. Now, all was well and good, and Hao was on his right path to become one of the best violinists in China. But that all came to an end when something horrible happened. Hao's beloved violin teacher went missing. Now, this violin teacher was like an older sister or even a mother to Hao. She had always been with him since a very young age, and she helped to take care of him and give him strength in times of hardship. So when Hao found out that she went missing, he absolutely lost it. He asked everyone he ran into at his university, he put up missing poster flyers around his city, and he called the police and tried to do everything he could to find her, but everything was in vain. No one could help him find her. Hao wanted to find his teacher by any means necessary because she was the one who gave him everything that he knew. She gave him his passion for violin, his passion for teaching, his passion for learning, and she was just an extremely important person to Hao. So when Hao felt failed by all the people around him, he took matters into his own hands. Although he was just a college student at the time, he was still pretty well known and respected within the violin and even music community as a whole. He always posted covers online and usually got a lot of attention for it. Hao knew that his violin teacher pretty much devoted her entire life to violin, so he decided to start within the violin community to try to get some answers. Because his skills were so powerful, many high-class and wealthy people invited Hao to play violin at their high-class events. At first, he didn't really want to take these gigs because he was more interested in teaching younger kids how to play violin and just on his schoolwork in general. But eventually, he got the feeling that if he took more of these jobs, he would find some answers as to where his violin teacher was. As Hao took more of these jobs, he began to find some clues and small pieces of evidence that gave him hope that he could find out what happened to his violin teacher. For example, he found out that there were people who thought that his violin teacher was too full of herself and that, her skills weren't all that and she just acted like she was the best violinist ever. And this came as a real shock to Hao because he always thought that his violin teacher was one of the most humble and kindest people he had ever met. Whenever he heard these harmful things about his violin teacher, that sent him over the edge, and he did what he had to do with his violin, if you know what I mean. Because as I said earlier, he just could not stand people saying those terrible things about his violin teacher, who he thought was one of the greatest people in the world. So basically, throughout taking all of these highfalutin gigs, Hao was finding out and collecting evidence on who had ill will and who had a possible motive to do something against his violin teacher. I guess you could say he was kind of like an assassin or a spy of sorts, but he wasn't tied to any bigger organization, and he really just did all of this on his own and for the purpose of finding what happened to his violin teacher and also possibly avenging her. So he used the skills that his violin teacher gave him as well as his own physical abilities, I guess you could say, to do what he had to do to get information about his violin teacher. And that's pretty much it. I hope you like this story. I definitely wanted to center around Hao's violin abilities because although I see people talking about him and his violin, I don't see enough people talking about it. So I would just like to promote that further. Next week, I'm not sure if I will be drawing another ZB1 member or if I'll be doing some sort of video essay. I haven't really decided yet, but please come back and check to see what I have to offer. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.